All right, so 50% turnout till 3 p.m. as 88 seats are voting currently in the second phase of the Lok Sabha elections. In fact, we're now into that last hour of polling, and our reporters have been bringing you ground reports from across the country as voting is taking place in these 88 seats across 13 states and union territory. We have 1,200 candidates, and this includes 4 candidates from outer Manipur who are contesting this election. And as we mentioned, the highest turnout so far has been in Tripura. The Northeast always sees this very high turnout, so at 68% till 3 p.m. While what's worrying is Maharashtra, where the turnout has been at a paltry 43% till 3 p.m. Remember, the seats in Vidarbha region are also polling, and the heat has been a big factor, big worry for the Election Commission as well as political parties. Let's see if the voting actually picks up in this final hour. Maharashtra turnout the lowest at 43%, and Bihar and UP follow next, where turnout has been only 44% so far. So this has been something of a big worry for the ruling party as well as for the Election Commission, who has been asking people to come out and cast their vote. Well, let's go across to Vedant now, who joins us from Noida. And in this second phase, Vedant, you've had the National Capital Region opening its account in a sense, with both the Ghaziabad and Noida going to the polls, and you have those seats in Western UP as well. But very different issues in the rest of the seats, and these are the more urban seats of Noida. So tell us about the key issues here and the big fight, and also what's the turnout been like here, because there is a worry about voter turnout, especially in these in the city areas.
That's right, Gargi. In fact, in Ghaziabad and Noida both, the voter turnout was lower than the state average till at least 3 p.m. As you said, let's see if this picks up in the last hour. Some voters rushing in here to cast their votes. It's the last hour, and as you said, this is largely seen as an urban constituency, but both these constituencies, Ghaziabad as well as Noida, are as rural as urban, because remember, a significant chunk of the population also lives in rural areas, and the villages of both Ghaziabad and Noida have very sharply defined political allegiances. In fact, Ghaziabad, the 103 villages have traditionally voted for the BJP. They are considered BJP strongholds. In fact, in Ghaziabad, the Prime Minister held a roadshow as well, and the BJP last minute dropped General VK Singh and fielded its MLA from here, Atul Garg, as a candidate. So Ghaziabad, of course, an interesting seat, but also Noida, as you mentioned. I come to you from Noida Extension, where the no registry, no vote campaign was really at the center of the poll discourse, with close to 40,000 home buyers saying that they will not cast their votes. They announced a poll boycott call as well, saying that this mess in the real estate capital needs to be solved sooner rather than later. And here, let me keep showing you around as well. This is one of the polling booths in Noida Extension. In fact, it has both rural and urban voters registered here, and all of them sort of rushing in now, last hour to vote. And it is a triangular contest. We spoke to all the candidates as well today, all of them seeming pretty confident. You have the BJP strongman Mahesh Sharma fielded. He's eyeing a third term from here. And on the other hand, you have a joint SP Congress candidate this time who's trying to dent the BJP's prospects. In fact, I can ask my camera person to keep following me so that I can show you around how senior voters also coming in. In fact, if I can get in a word from this voter, आप अपनी माता जी को अभी लेकर आ रहे हैं, थोड़ा लेट हो गया आने में.
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
अच्छा जी, तो वोट करना लेकिन बहुत जरूरी, चाहे लेट आए लेकिन वोट जरूर करें.
वोट की बहुत कीमत है.
वोट की बहुत कीमत है. ऑल राइट, आप कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे? क्या कहते हैं?
भैया, हमारा अपना इस टाइम पे थोड़ा पोलिंग थोड़ा सुस्त चल रहा है. हाँ. पर फिर भी हमारी 70% वोट है भारतीय जनता पार्टी की.
अच्छा, चलिए, ये तो there's a BJP supporter here claiming that there are 70% votes of the BJP. So of course you have, this is typical UP politics, as it's called here, hawabazi karna, because it's the last hour of polling here. And other than Noida and Ghaziabad, of course, key constituency is going to polls. Of course, you have Meerut, Amroha, Mathura, all these key constituencies. You have star candidates in the fray. Remains to be seen what happens in Noida. As you said, what what makes it even more keenly contested and keenly watched is the fact that it's just less than 50 kilometers from the seat of power, the national capital, and a lot of high-profile voters we saw today and we spoke to through the course of the day. You have ex-bureaucrats, lawyers, all casting their votes in Noida. There are urban issues like, as I said, the issues of the high-rises, maintenance or the lack of maintenance thereof in these high-rises. Plus, of course, in Ghaziabad, infrastructure still happens to be a very important issue. The caste arithmetic also, Gargi, in both these constituencies is extremely crucial. Where does the Thakur's allegiance actually lie? That also is an interesting question. Of course, you have the BSP eyeing for a consolidation of the Muslim and SC vote. So all of those caste dynamics at play as well. So certainly both constituencies extremely interesting, but concerning is the fact that this time the voter turnout significantly lower in these two constituencies compared to last time.
That's right. And the seats in UP going to the polls today, the BJP dominated most of these seats, and also, of course, Ghaziabad and Noida, where they have, won the last 2 times. But let's go to Uma now, joins us from Kerala, where the BJP is hoping to open its account. It's been a cause, it's been a source of great mirth, Uma, and, lots of jibes about the BJP, who are sounding very confident and, when they speak, as they always do. But tell us about, what the reports are in Kerala. You're in Thiruvananthapuram, one of the very watch seats, the key contest there between Shashi Tharoor and Rajiv Chandrasekhar. Also, Wayanad polling today, where Rahul Gandhi is contesting.
Yes, indeed. A lot of attention on Kerala also because the Prime Minister made half a dozen trips here just in the new year, and he spoke about the vote share, of course, has already been in 2 digits since 2019 when it went to 13%. And he spoke very ambitiously about number of seats becoming double digit as well in a state where the people have never voted a BJP MP to power. And this time the enthusiasm certainly high also because of the high profile candidate that they have in Thiruvananthapuram. Rajiv Chandrasekhar pitted against Shashi Tharoor, and the reason they are confident, or rather exuding that kind of a confidence, is also because in the 2019 elections, the BJP had come second in as many as 5 constituencies with more than 20 to 30% vote share, which is very big for the BJP. And in Thiruvananthapuram itself, they had come second with 30% of the vote share. So voting wise, in the morning we saw quite a bit of enthusiasm in this particular voting booth. I can't really say that there are big queues till about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. What we saw was about 57-58% of vote share, and they are hoping that this will certainly not become less than what happened in 2019, which is about 73% vote share. Because everywhere you go in Kerala, people are very passionate about who they are voting for, what they are voting for, and I must say that the floating vote is not really big in Kerala because it's like almost like through generations people are either loyal to the LDF or to the UDF, and it's always been between these two coalitions, whereas the BJP has come in as that third player who's trying to rocking the boat, should I say, because in at least 5 to 7 constituencies, it's a 3-cornered contest. You mentioned Wayanad, where of course Rahul Gandhi is hoping for a re-election, but he's pitted against Ani Raja of the CPI and of course K. Surendran, who's the state BJP chief. Though Rahul Gandhi is confident that he is going to retain that particular seat, it's in the other seats as well that there's a lot of interest. Thrissur for one, where again you have Suresh Gopi, the actor politician who is contesting on behalf of the BJP, and the Prime Minister had a massive show there, remember, with addressing also not just the road show but also addressing a huge public meeting of women. So women is also a segment to which the Prime Minister very specifically appealed and said what we can bring to Kerala and why you must vote for a BJP. So the BJP is banking on 3 different things. One, of course, is the Prime Minister's own appeal. 2 is the kind of cynicism that the youth or younger voters may have with an LDF and the UDF. And 3, I must point out also that the bigger issues of, whatever we have been talking about as the CAA, NRC, or even the Kerala story, all of that got big play here. Even the killings in Manipur was politically much debated in Kerala, and that has also had an influence on the vote of different communities here. And the BJP, in fact, demographically, historically, the political landscape has not left any space for the BJP, because with 45% of the minority vote, the BJP technically may not be able to make the numbers, because that minority, religious minority I'm talking about, not more than 2% are believed to have voted for the BJP in the last election. So where is the BJP going to get its vote from? A lot of the Hindu vote, Erava vote is said to have shifted to the BJP. We have seen that through the numbers. And there are also certain Christian minorities that they are appealing to, through which they are hoping to make those numbers and to make this difference. And the third player in each of these constituencies, that vote may also make a difference to the
Right.
BJP being able to manage perhaps to get its first win out of a Kerala. Back to you.
All right, all this will be known on the 4th of June. Thanks so much, Uma, for joining us with all those details there. Let's shift focus now to Maharashtra, and we're joined by Paras and also Anurag Dwari joining us. Paras, first to you. You are in Akola. So far, we know that there's a 43% turnout till 3 p.m. and हमको ये अकोला के बारे में जो कॉन्टेस्ट है वहाँ पे प्रकाश अंबेडकर कंटेस्ट कर रहे हैं. ऑल्सो जो सीट्स इस बार जा रहे हैं इलेक्शंस के लिए, ये विदर्भ रीजन में है जहाँ पर पानी की किल्लत बहुत बड़ी समस्या है. ज़रा बताइए हमको पहले अभी तक क्या रिपोर्ट्स आ रहे हैं.
जी बिल्कुल, सबसे पहले मैं आपको बता दूं कि किस तरीके से वोट परसेंटेज हैं. 8 सीट पर चुनाव हुआ है महाराष्ट्र में, जो कि मुख्य सीट मानी जा रही है. वर्धा में 45.95% वोटिंग हुई है, अकोला में 42.69% हुए, अमरावती में 43.76% वोटिंग हुई है, बुल्धाना में 41.66% हुए, हिंगोली में 40.50 के आसपास हुआ है, नांदेड़ में 42.42% हुआ है, परभनी में 44.49% हुआ है, यवतमाल वाशिम में 42.55 हुआ है. ओवरऑल if we say it's 43.1% voting has happened in Maharashtra, and this figure is at a peak right now, because we are in Akola right now and you can see people still coming for voting. This is the last 1 hour of voting in Maharashtra. 6 p.m. is the last time to come and vote for your favorite candidate, and Akola can be said as the main point of Maharashtra politics from last few months, because we know that Prakash Ambedkar was the main point where MVA just lost few things. Mahavikas Aghadi wanted Prakash Ambedkar to contest with them to be in Mahavikas Aghadi, but he did not happen to be there. He just left Mahavikas Aghadi and then he contested himself from his own party, Bahujan Vikas Aghadi, Vanchit Bahujan Vikas Aghadi, and now he has voted for himself today. Akola being a major constituency for Maharashtra, this Akola constituency has a triangular competition: Congress, Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi and Bharatiya Janata Party. So it will be very interesting to see on June 4th who will be winning. But as we know, this is a very, very strong point for Prakash Ambedkar, as Prakash Ambedkar has already been with Mahavikas Aghadi, and after that he left Mahavikas Aghadi. Mahavikas Aghadi continuously targeting Prakash Ambedkar, as they were saying that Prakash Ambedkar was the B team of Bharatiya Janata Party. As all of this happened, the massive turnout happened, and after that Prakash Ambedkar contested himself from his own party from Akola. There is a triangular competition in Akola, but right now if we see, still people are coming to cast their votes, and there
That's
are
right,
mostly
Paras. The
45
last
to 50
hour there,
minutes
people rushing
more.
in to, manage, hoping to manage to cast their votes now. So we can see it doesn't seem to be, too long a line or anything. So hopefully all those people will cast their votes. Let's go across to Anurag, who joins us from Khajuraho. And Anurag, 6 seats going to the polls in this second phase of election. There in Madhya Pradesh, what are the reports coming in? And the voter turnout has been a matter of concern.
Yes, Gargi, and 43% till 4 p.m. And I can just tell my camera person to show you the visuals of this particular booth, which is in Panna district, which comes under Khajuraho Lok Sabha constituency. And all the political commentators as well as political experts are saying that this can be a cakewalk for the BJP, as the opposition candidate Meera Yadav, her form was rejected earlier, and now the India bloc is supporting RB Prajapati, and he is not much of a goalkeeper, and otherwise also the BJP has an edge on this seat, as it had won all the 8 assembly seats last year that fall into this Lok Sabha segment. In 2019, the BJP had won 28 of the 29 seats in Madhya Pradesh, with the exception of Chhindwara, which was backed by Nakul Nath, son of Kamal Nath. So the polling percentage in this particular booth is around 60%, but still people are coming to exercise their franchise. They have 2 particular booths in this school premises in Panna district, and the workers of the BJP, they are also trying to get the voters inside the polling booth premises. We are being joined by one of the local corporators of the BJP. Sir, कितने लोगों ने अभी तक यहाँ पर मतदान कर दिया है?
यहाँ 900 लोगों ने कर दिया है।
अच्छा, 1400 के आसपास है?
जी, 1482 है। 1482 में 900 लोगों का वोट पड़ गया है।
चलिए,
896 वोट पड़ चुका है अभी तक।
बढ़िया, लेकिन एक चिंता फिक्र की बात जरूर है, बहुत कम मतदान हो रहा है।
जी, मतदान कम हो रहा है।
हाँ।
क्योंकि यहाँ पे अभी कम से कम 900 वोट पड़ जाना चाहिए था।
हाँ।
शादियों के कारण कुछ वोट नहीं पड़ पाया है।
तो आपके लिए चिंता की बात होगी या जो विपक्षी उम्मीदवार है उनके लिए?
नहीं, हमारे लिए भी चिंता का विषय है, क्योंकि जिस टारगेट को हम लेके चल रहे हैं, वो टारगेट अचीव करने में हम अगर मतदान नहीं पड़ेगा तो टारगेट
मुश्किल होगी थोड़ी।
हाँ।
So clearly the mercury has come down, Gargi. I mean, it's still 39 degree in Khajuraho. Earlier it was 41, 42. The mercury was touching 41, 42. Now the cloudy skies, and as you heard, the BJP workers are also saying that it's a matter of concern for them also because of the low turnout of the voters in this particular segment, because they were hoping, just few hours back we had a word with the state BJP chief, who is also contesting from Khajuraho, and he said that he's expecting a massive win, because last time he defeated his nearest rival by more than 4 lakh votes. So this time he's hoping to get more than 8 lakh votes. But if the voter turnout is less, clearly that's a matter of concern for the BJP.
All right. Thanks so much, Anurag, for joining us with the latest reports there. Let's go across to Ratnadeep to find out how, the Northeast is faring. 7 seats in the Northeast, Ratnadeep, and 5 of them in Assam. Tripura recording one of the highest turnouts so far. So what are the latest you can share with us?
That's right. In fact, there is a saying that morning shows the day, and this is what had happened in Assam. In the morning, we did see that the women were the first to reach the polling booths, and now here officially 5 p.m. was the time of till the time polling could happen. But after 5 also, you can see a lot of voters in this polling booth in Telahi, which is in Morigaon district, part of the Nagaon constituency, and a lot of women still waiting to vote. Those who are now in the queue have been given tokens so that they can vote, because after 5 p.m. those people who are in the queue are given tokens. This is a usual practice, and women have waited for hours to come and vote in every polling station. That's what we saw. We have some women here. आपसे थोड़ा बात करेंगे. हमने सुबह देखा कि जो women हैं सुबह घर से निकल के आए, वोट दिया. अभी आप बहुत घंटों से इंतजार कर रहे हैं. बहुत उत्साह है इस बार वोट में.
हाँ, ठीक है.
इस बार सरकार से क्या चाहते हैं? क्या इश्यूज हैं आप लोग? So they are quite shy. They don't want to speak. But here we have another woman. We have been waiting with a kid. आप बहुत टाइम से खड़े हैं वोट देने के लिए. यहाँ पे भी बहुत लोग खड़े हैं वोट देने के लिए. तो बहुत उत्साह है लोगों के अंदर.
नहीं, गुस्सा नहीं है.
उत्साह बहुत एक्साइटमेंट
है बच्चा लोगों के लिए. साथ में बच्चा है ना, इसलिए थोड़ा मुश्किल है. पर कुछ नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, हो जाएगा. अभी थोड़ा कम हो गया अभी.
So there you can see the spirit. She says that I'm carrying the kid with me. It's a little problematic, but everything will be sorted. I'll be able to vote. So that has been the spirit of the people in Assam. The 5 seats which have gone to polls, and also in other states of Northeast, with Tripura registering one of the highest in the country, and also Outer Manipur, part of it went to poll. Very remote areas. There also there have been 1 or 2 incidents reported from Outer Manipur, but barring those, there have been a large turnout there as well.
All right, thanks so much, Ratnadeep. So great to see so many women out there. You know, the last hour of voting, still they're coming in to and quickly and very conscientiously to cast their votes. Let's go across to Prabhakar now, who joins us from Kishanganj, and 5 seats in Bihar going to the polls. Prabhakar, what are the reports coming in? It's the last hour of polling now.
Yeah, and the last hour of polling, if I can just show you as to what the scene is here at the polling station. Most of the polling stations are deserted, which is not a very good news actually. Most of the polling stations, ideally it should have been the last hour rush, but most of the polling stations, people are just dropping one by one, and the officials here, the polling officials here, they're just waiting to close the polling, which would happen at around 6 p.m. sharp. The polling would close. So there are 5 Lok Sabha constituencies which are going to poll today. It's spread across entire Simanchal and Kosi belt. Kishanganj happens to be the northernmost, bordering West Bengal. This is one of the most important constituency as far as the opposition, the India Alliance, the Congress and the RJD is concerned, because in 2019 they were able to hold only this constituency out of 40 which is which falls in Bihar. So 39 went to NDA. This was the only constituency which Congress could win. So this is very important for them, and otherwise also apart from Kishanganj, Purnia, Katihar, Bhagalpur and Banka, those are the constituencies. So this entire belt is a Muslim dominated belt. So RJD and Congress, they traditionally have been doing well here, and they're hoping that even this time they would repeat the performance, and the BJP is trying hard to dent into it. As the polling happens today here, just 70 kilometers from here in Fawizganj, Prime Minister was holding a rally. So interesting things playing out here in Kishanganj in the Kosi belt here in Bihar.
All right. Thanks so much, Prabhakar, for joining us there. Sad to see empty polling booth and no rush behind you, no last hour rush. Well, we'll have to wait and see what the final, turnout is. But thanks so much for joining us there with that. That was a roundup of, all the various states that are going to the polls today. On the other side of the break, we're going to get you voices from more. Rajasthan, finally polling ends today in Rajasthan with 13 seats polling today. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're bringing you all the latest on the elections as phase 2 is underway. It's the last hour, in fact, so rush hour really in some places, as we saw on the ground, people rushing in to cast their vote in this last final hour of polling, while in some places, sadly, empty polling booths to be seen there. We're going across to our reporters, and we will be going to Harsha, who joins us from Rajasthan, as Rajasthan polling ends today, all 13 seats, and finally all 25 would have polled today. Also Nazir from Jammu will talk about the polling there, and we're also joined, and there you can see visuals from the day of the polling taking place, and we're also joined in studio by Nishtha Gautam here with us, and 50% turnout till 3 p.m. We're just waiting for the latest numbers, really to come out. But in the first phase of polling, a lot of focus on the lower voter turnout. It had gone down from 70% in 2019 in that first phase to 65%. And this is a big matter worry to the BJP. There's been a lot of, heartburn over this. There's been a lot of statements from the Prime Minister also today, putting, messages out in various languages, asking the youth, asking the voters to come out and cast their votes.
Absolutely. I think for any government seeking re-election, Gargi, the point is that people have to not leave anything to chance. Whoever is seeking re-election wants the supporters to come out in big numbers. Otherwise, it makes them feel a little nervous, and that's exactly what had happened in 2004 when the UPA government had come to power after defeating, after voting the Vajpayee-led government, and that is something that the BJP does not want a repeat of. So I can understand, why there is nervousness.
Right, quickly, two things being blamed. One, of course, we're going on talking about the weather and the heat wave, etc., but also voter apathy, and that's something you're talking about. Also, this sense that because so much has been talked about about Abki Baar, 400 par, and Modi is all set to come back, as many have been saying. So there's a certain amount of apathy there also.
Right. So, the whole point here, Gargi, is that Modi has very successfully, Prime Minister Modi has very successfully changed this whole narrative कि abki baar 400 par. So everybody is, people like me, like, nahi yaar, 400 to nahi aayenge. Maybe they will get 302, 305, and people would be saying, no, they'll not be able to make gains. But nobody is even trying to look at what the opposition is doing. So now it's like a foregone conclusion. But the BJP, it is that party that does not leave anything to chance. So the analysts across the country have kind of seen this election as a foregone conclusion, but the BJP does not want to take any chance, which is why the Prime Minister has been making appeals, repeated appeals to different groups, because he knows that it was the women voters' support that brought him to power this time. So today's appeal was actually directed at women voters.
Right.
Who have been beneficiaries to
Okay, well, let's find out from our reporters what's happening in this last hour. Is it rush hour where they are? Well, let's first go across to Harsha, as polling in Rajasthan will come to an end today, and much was said about the the low voter turnout in the first phase there in Rajasthan. Harsha, what are the reports like?
Well, it's picking up now, definitely better than the first phase. It was 50%, and now it's going to pick up, because here we can see lots of people, last minute rush, last minute stragglers coming in. They've all lined up. I think they've also been brought from their homes. आप लोग सब भाग के आए हो लास्ट में वोट डालने के लिए. अब तो खत्म होने वाला है.
6 बजे खत्म होने वाला है.
कौन लेके आया आपको?
टैक्सी वाला. ऑटो लगे हुए थे. ऑटो लगे हुए थे. ऑटो
लगे. अच्छा, वो ऑटो प्रोवाइड किया कि आके वोट डालो.
जरूरी है वोट डालना. जरूरी.
इतना लेट क्यों रखा? पहले आते ना.
हो जाता है.
कुछ बिजी थे. हाँ. So lots of last minute stragglers coming in, like I was saying, and they've been rushed in by different people working for different political parties. Like you had that lady saying कि auto रखा हुआ था, auto में मेरे को लेके आए हैं. So I've seen a lot of activities, a lot of volunteers coming here. The last minute push is from those people. So the volunteers literally bringing the voters and asking them to cast their vote. So of course, like I said, last minute rush here. Of course, it's much cooler now, so people are also venturing out. In the afternoon, it was very hot, so a lot of people didn't venture out then. Heat has been actually a big deterrent. I think somewhere the heat has been a big deterrent as far as voting is concerned. And I think the BJP got a heads up, with the first phase voting being very low in Rajasthan. So they've definitely worked. I mean, today I saw the volunteers, party workers a lot more active than I saw them in the first phase in Jaipur. In Jodhpur, they're
Especially
definitely a lot more active. Yes.
They want to repeat their, performance of last time, which the Congress is, saying in no uncertain terms. I've seen all the interviews you've done with various leaders, and they're saying there's no chance this time the Congress is going to get a couple of those seats. Last time the BJP getting, last 2 times in fact, getting 25 out of 25.
Yes, absolutely, Gargi. A lot of people are betting on that. The Congress will open its account. Now, whether it will be double-digit figures or single-digit is the million-dollar question. Of course, I've spoken to both Sachin and Ashok Gehlot, and Ashok Gehlot told me, "Bilkul tum आश्चर्य मत करना. अगर double-digit में आ गया, तो बिल्कुल तुम आश्चर्य मत करना." I'm not so sure about that, Gargi, but let's see. I mean, the polling ends today, and then we have a long wait. We have to wait till the 4th of June, till the rest of the country finishes polling, and then, of course, we'll all be back in action as far as elections and results are concerned.
Well, at least, Harshad, after today, you can rest for some time. Let's go across to Ankit now, who joins us from Meerut there. And Ankit, 8 seats in UP going to the polls today, and this is seen as, BJP dominated 7 of those seats last time BJP won. What are the reports like?
It's the last minute rush that we are also witnessing here in Meerut. This is also, as you said, BJP has won this seat last 3 times, and that is considered a safe seat for the BJP. But the combination has changed as far as the alliances are concerned. But let me, before going into the arithmetic, let me just give you a sense of what is happening right now. A lot of people will show you, wave to you, and show their Aadhaar cards to you. All of them are waiting in the line. So last minute rush. The voters also know that in the next 20 minutes, anybody who is able to, in fact, enter a polling booth will be allowed to vote, and those who are left behind would not be able to exercise their franchise. But at least here where I'm standing in Meerut, steady stream of voters coming in. Even from outside, it seems that the last minute booth level workers have suddenly realized that they need to push the voting percentage. I've just been told that till 5 p.m. Meerut has voted about 56%. Remember the last time in 2019, on the 8 seats which are polling right now, the average polling percentage was 70%. At this moment, it seems that that number is difficult to breach, but they would be hoping that at least the second phase performs better than the first one, where in Uttar Pradesh it was around 60% overall on the 8 seats. Now, with these 8 seats, the 16 seats after 6 p.m., the western UP phase of Uttar Pradesh is done. But Meerut, in fact, it is an interesting contest. Akhilesh Yadav changed his candidate 3 times, the India Alliance candidate, and the BJP has dropped the 3-time MP and has got Arun Govil. Will his persona on screen translate into votes? Do people feel he's an outsider? Because all those things are being spoken when voters talk about issues along with unemployment and other basic needs, Gargi.
That's right, Ankit. That's been a big talking point, given how much, attention has been given to the Ram temple, in the build-up to this election, and then to actually get Ram per se, someone who, as Nishtha also knows, in our childhood, we've all watched that serial and seen Arun Govil as Ram, to actually, parachute him into this election has been definitely a very interesting, something that's been a bit of a talking point. But let's go across to Nazir, waiting very patiently there in Jammu. And Nazir, so last-minute rush over there in Jammu as well?
Well, I'm at Katra, pilgrimage town of Katna of Mata Vaishno Devi, and here the people have already done their job, performed their duty to vote. And at this polling station, already 85% people have cast their vote. So they have done their job, and now these are these polling agents. आप ये बताएं, पहले ही वोट डाला, कैसे आए? महिला पहले आए या पुरुष पहले आए? क्या कैसा हुआ?
पहला वोट पुरुष ने डाला।
कब तक?
9 बजे तक तो पहले महिला और पुरुष मिक्स ही थे।
हाँ। तो क्यों पहले ही यहाँ वोट खत्म करते? पहले ही पूरी
नहीं खत्म हुई। हाँ। लोगों में उत्साह था।
अच्छा, उत्साह था।
जेंट्स पहले आगे, कुछ को ड्यूटी जाना होता है 9 बजे तक।
काम भी,
तो इसलिए लोग 6:15 बजे क्यू में खड़े हो गए थे।
अच्छा।
जल्दी डालने के लिए वो आ गए थे।
तो आप बताएं क्यों ऐसे? क्योंकि शहरों में देखते हैं अभी भी है लोग, अभी भी पूरा नहीं हो, अब लास्ट मिनट पे लोग रश पे आते हैं। यहाँ गाँव में बहुत जल्दी आते हैं, पहले
गाँव में जल्दी काम खत्म करते हैं।
हाँ।
घर का काम होता है शाम को।
हाँ,
तो वो सोचते हैं कि पहले वोट दे के ये जरूरी है।
हाँ, तो आप लोगों ने अपना वोट दिया या अभी बाकी है?
हमने अपना वोट दिया हुआ है।
अच्छा, दिया, यही दिया। So, but one interesting I have found here at this very particular polling booth, the polling staff which actually conducts the polling, they have not been given the election duty certificate which would have enabled them to cast their vote in the booth. So these are hundreds of government employees. They're complaining that they were not giving those EDCs or election duty certificates. First they have to fill the form 12 which they had done. So they are saying they wanted to vote, they conduct the polling, but they could not. But talking about the larger issue of Jammu parliamentary constituency, which is a large constituency spread over 3 districts, Jammu, Riyasi and Samba. Earlier, Poonch and Rajouri were part of this constituency, and they have been removed as part of the delimitation, and that has actually has made there's some demographic complexion of this constituency has been changed, because the Poonch and Rajouri were predominantly Muslim districts, and these 3 districts are Jammu, Riyasi and Samba are predominantly Hindu districts, so it has changed the demographic complexion of this constituency. There are 22 candidates in the fray, but the main contest is between Congress's Raman Balla and Jugal Kishore Sharma of BJP, who is seeking 3rd term, and he is confident of winning. People have given their verdict, and here at this polling booth, you don't see the lines here because people have already cast their vote. 85% polling at this booth. By 3 p.m. today, near 60% people have cast their vote, and it was expected that today's polling is going to match the voting turnout in 2019 when Jammu parliamentary constituency recorded 72% voting. So will that match it, or will that beat that record of 72% today? Given the voting turnout in this polling station, it is not beyond the reach. That can happen, given the fact that even in village we see, and also in the towns, urban areas of Jammu, large number of people since morning, men, women, young and old, everybody came to cast their vote, saying it is the festival of democracy which comes only once in 5
Well, the
years.
first
More
time
so about
people-
in Jammu and Kashmir,
Right.
where they didn't have any assembly elections for a long, long time.
All right, Nazir reporting from Katra. Then the first time people are voting after abrogation of 370, after it's no longer a state and has become a union territory. Thanks so much, Nazir, for joining us with that. And Nishtha, if we talk about, a lot of focus, and we're going to be talking a lot more about the turnout that we're seeing in the second phase. But what's also being said is, the controversy right now, the big political back and forth right now is about this issue of wealth redistribution, inheritance tax, and the sort of statements that the Prime Minister made, which the opposition then, complained to the Election Commission about. And in fact, on Monday is when the party president has to answer on that. The Congress too has to answer on Rahul Gandhi's statement. But so a lot of the opposition claiming that the Prime Minister is getting nervous with the low voter turnout, and that's why to get people to the polling booths, these sort of communal statements as being described by the opposition are being made, targeting of minorities, talking fear, creating this fear about wealth redistribution, with the Congress going blue in the face, saying it's nowhere in our manifesto.
Yeah, so this is a very time-tested strategy for the BJP to rally its base to the maximum just before they go to vote, just before they press the button against their Chunav Chinna. Right. So what the Prime Minister has been doing is actually telling the electorate not to be complacent. As I said earlier, that the BJP
because
is not
there's no
a party.
overriding issue.
Absolutely
the
not.
First 2014, you had the economy, and you
Yes.
had the last days of the last years of the UPA, a lot of scams being talked
Yes.
about.
Yes.
The second time, 2019, you had Pulwama, and then the skirmishes across the border, and
Yes.
the sense of nationalism and all that. And this time, they were hoping perhaps Ram Mandir, hoping perhaps economy, so there's been a mishmash of the messaging.
See, I have maintained it that this vote is just for or against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The supporters are voting for him, and the opposition is voting against him. That's it. There is no mudda. There is no new mudda that has come into fray.
Viksit Bharat.
Viksit Bharat and all of this has been there since 1950. Right? The bijli, pani, sadak, muddas, they have been there since time immemorial, before you and I were born, and nothing has changed. For example, I was watching your coverage, and people in Badmer and Dungarpur, what is the issue there? What is the political issue there? Water. That there is no
in
water
Vidarbh
there.
as well. I mean, I can't tell you the number of years we watched the kind of coverage about Vidarbh and the water crisis there.
Absolutely. So if we are unable to provide water, it is it is water, for God's sake.
In fact, water on the mind. Yeah,
absolutely.
And water on the mind in Bengaluru as well. Urban voters
Absolutely.
will wait and see. We know what the turnout is in Bengaluru, because last time around it was a big worry, and people are saying that come out and vote. What's also sad to see is the registration of the youth, first-time voters, are below 40%.
Yes, but Gargi, that is not a surprise actually, because when it comes to cities, people are not coming out to vote, and this has been consistent for so many years, right? We have been observing that it is the rural India that comes out to vote in numbers, and kudos to them for that. So when people sitting in metropolitan cities, trying very hard to make an analysis on the basis of what they are doing, and they just do not understand the aspirations or the struggles of rural India, because that makes them come out and vote, right? Even if it is the bribe. That bribe, 500 rupees that a candidate is giving them, that also becomes very important, because that is probably getting them food.
Right. I also want you to talk, we're just seeing Mr. Shashi Tharoor there, visuals of him from Thiruvananthapuram. That's been one very closely watched contest. But the South, so that has also been in big focus, with the Prime Minister making n number of trips, whether to Tamil Nadu or Kerala. A lot of jokes made about this opening of account in Kerala by the BJP, but a huge push, and definitely the margin, the voter share will definitely go up, that percentage, but whether it translates into seats is something we'll have to see. Yes, to you,
Yeah.
Nishtha,
So, we have spoken about it, Gargi, that the BJP is an extremely patient party, right? It likes to wait. It waited for more than 40 years to come to power, right? And come to power like this, it's like road rolling sort of mandate. Now, everybody was telling the BJP that Bengalis will never succumb to the conniving ways of the BJP, but we know what happened, right? Lock, stock, barrel, cadres of certain parties moved to the BJP. Why do you think it cannot happen in Kerala? Particularly, it has not sent any member of the parliament as yet, but it is also one of those states where all the three communities are so highly radicalized there, and there is only, you see, even in Wayanad, right, this is India versus India.
Yes, well, that's one confusion for the voters perhaps in Kerala. But yes, voter share is something definitely everyone saying will go up. But again, seats will wait till the 4th of June.
Absolutely.
But you talked about Bengal, so let's go across to my colleague Saurabh, who joins us from there. And Saurabh, so it's been a very hot day for you. And we were seeing earlier in the day when we were speaking to you, voter turnout was lesser at that time. What's it like right now? We've been seeing lots of last minute rush happening at the polling stations. Also, what are the reports coming? 3 seats polling today in West Bengal.
Well, if I were to give you an example just from where I am, this polling station, at this point I can tell you that this is a polling station, and I've figured this out from the polling officials, that has about 1,100 voters registered who will come here and vote at this particular booth. Now, this particular booth has over 800 voters who've already cast their votes. And that gives you an idea of the percentage of turnout that's here. Similar for that booth. And this is, of course, I'm speaking of the figure that was about 2.5 hours ago. So that percentage definitely has improved since then. And this is why Bengal, of course, is a place where people come out to vote, irrespective of political ideology or political inclination. They come out to vote because the parties that are involved, and like they say, it's a party society, and that pushes a lot of the people to come out and vote. There is a certain amount of urban apathy, but that is very, very restricted to some very, very urban pockets of Kolkata and other places. But otherwise, this is a state that has a better turnout when compared to other places in the country. 3 seats are going to polls today. In the morning, we saw huge lines. In the afternoon, when it went up to 41, 42 degrees, the heat, or 41 degrees at least, at that time, the lines definitely became almost non-existent. But now, of course, last minute, we had some people walk in. We have barely about 10-15 minutes to go. The booths are practically empty now. The polling officials say that most of the people who were expected to vote would have come in and voted, and maybe you'll see a last minute few of those who'll probably finish work and come in to vote. Those people will be walking in or sort of rushing in to vote. But otherwise, more or less, they believe that whatever percentage of people had to come and vote would have already done so. 3 seats, 3 very different seats, 3 very different situations. Darjeeling, let me begin with Darjeeling. It's a seat that has assembly segments of the hills, assembly segments of the plains. Aspirations, demographics are very different. The hills, there is the Gorkhaland sentiment. There is also the demand for inclusion of sub-communities of Gorkhas, 11 of them in the scheduled tribes list. Then you have Raiganj, where of course the Congress has fielded a very strong local candidate. The BJP has changed its candidate. And you have Balurghat, where the state BJP president is contesting, and the Trinamool has fielded a very local strong leader.
All right, Saurabh, thanks so much for joining us with that. So good to know, good turnout there at that polling booth at least. And, again, we're waiting for those final numbers to come in. Just around 10 minutes left for this second phase of polling to come to an end. Thanks, Saurabh, for joining us there. And thank you, Nishtha, for being with us in studio always. With that, we'll slip into a short break. More news coming up on the other side.